Ness, now that I think we have mentioned quite a few core issues with pets, I would love for you to explain how you can help us. What is the training? How long? How do we do it? How do we go about it? And how do we start with you?
Yeah. So you asked about, do I work remotely? Yes, I do. Even if you lived across the road from me, I would still work with you remotely because it's me coming into your home is just another person leaving the dog. So why make it harder? Let's keep it. And for me, I like to start with a foundational plan. So that is where it's the easiest training plan for that dog at that time. Where it's in a state of mind where it is ready to rest and relax. You know, we all dogs have different sort of patterns. Some dogs like to lie in bed in the morning. Some dogs like to hang around and relax in the afternoon. So it depends on your dog, but I would do the training at a time where that dog is most likely to succeed in the beginning. And I just get rid of all the complications. So there's no leaving cues, which are also known as pre-departure cues, which could be your keys, it could be your shoes that you mentioned, it could be putting on makeup, doing your hair, could be any number of things. So I don't even add them in at the beginning. So I know some trainers, I probably would have given you that advice years ago. Pick up your keys, put them down, pick them up, put them down. I just keep them completely out of the picture, make everything as simple and easy for your dog as possible. I add the complications in down the track. So the complications being when the dog's in a more active mindset, the leaving cues, you know, the pre-departure cues, maybe an extra person leaving, you know, all those things that might make it more difficult for the dog. I don't start with them. I do it later and I do it in a very structured manner. So, but it starts with really knowing what your dog's threshold is. Having a really, this is where the alone method comes in. Do you want me to go through that? That might be,
Yes, please.
yeah.
Yes.
So the alone, A for alone, is assessing what the threshold is. Because if we don't know what the threshold is, we're very much in danger of going over that threshold. So we need to know what the threshold is. However, the caveat is we don't want to go over the threshold to discover what it is. So we're going to nudge up to where it is, and then we're going to back right off. But then we've got an idea. So it's going to depend on the dog. It could be 5 minutes, it could be 5 seconds. Some dogs don't have a threshold at all. They're the ones that start reacting before you even step outside the door because they recognize all your pre-departure cues. But that's what the A stands for. L stands for learning how to be home alone and feeling safe. So it's about what I call the 4Cs. So being they feel confident, they feel calm, they feel comfortable, and they're consistent in their training. Consistency is really important, not just as in the dog's done, let's say they were alone for an hour, and it was the first time they've ever been alone for an hour. That's personal best. It's not consistent until they've done that hour plus, but they've got that solid hour over and over. So that consistency is really important. But the other consistency is that the guardian trains more than once a week, because we can't show the dog this picture and say, well, I did it a week ago, why can't you do it? You know, they need a bit more consistency than that. O stands for observation. So, and that is twofold. So one is understanding your dog's body language, so observing their dog's body language and understanding what that particular dog's signs of stress or anxiety are. It varies for every dog. And O also stands for observing with a camera, with a live camera feed. Because if we're watching on a recording, it's too late to come back in if they're struggling. So we need to be watching on a live camera feed. And as you say, cameras are very cheap, but there's also free options as well. So Zoom, you can pay for it, but there is a free version of Zoom for up to 40 minutes, unless they've changed that, I'm not sure. There's Skype, there's Microsoft Teams, there's Google Meets. You could do a Facebook Live. Just make sure you set it to
Good
only me.
idea.
Yeah, don't make it public. Just set it for only me so you can actually see. But yeah, so there's free options as well. So we don't have to go rushing out spending money. N is for nurturing. Is nurturing home alone time by setting the dog up for success. And what I mean by setting the dog up for success is, especially with the foundation plan that I was telling you about. So They've toileted, they don't need to go to the toilet. They've had a walk, they've had exercise, they've had some exercise and some enrichment, sorry. They're not hungry. So they've gone, they've had their dinner. They're not, because, if they're hungry, they'd be like a little bit more up and about. They're not expecting something. So they're not expecting somebody to arrive home from work or from school. They're not expecting playtime. Most dogs, well, a lot of dogs, especially younger ones, get the zoomies around 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, depending. So I wouldn't be training then, especially not for a foundational plan. And, they're not expecting anything like play, food, walk, whatever. So we're literally setting them up for success. They're ready to rest and relax. They've had their exercise, they've had their enrichment, they've got a full tummy, they've toileted. They should really be ready for having a nap. And that's for the foundation plan is where I would start. So we're setting them up for success. So NE is easy step-by-step guidance and training. So the training I do, the program I have, I take the thinking out of it for the guardian. And the way I structured it was because I think, when we've got a problem, the first thing we do, maybe your dog's got allergies. What do? You're going to jump online and go, my dog's got allergies. And there's going to be all this information telling you what to do, but it can be very conflicting and very confusing. So the point of this program is to make it simple for the user to go forward with the training.